Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be riding not the Honda Navi, but the Honda Trail 125, which I just recently picked up. And everybody's driving too fast through here. But yeah, I traded in the Navi because I found somewhere that had the Trail 125, which I originally wanted when I got the Navi. I just hadn't seen anywhere that had them anywhere close to me, because I didn't really feel like driving multiple states away and then having to trailer a bike back. But my brother recently got the Honda XR 150L, and the place that he picked it up from had one of these trails that was still in the crate they hadn't put together yet. So they had that available, and I put a deposit down on it. And then we, the following weekends, we got his bike on a Saturday. The following Saturday, which is today, we took the Navi down on a trailer to them and traded it in and got this bike. And this is one of the first substantive rides that I'm actually taking this for. When I first picked it up and got it, I drove it from the building to the trailer, and then when I got home, I started it up and took it around the block for a pretty low speed ride, just to kind of see how the shifter and everything worked, how it felt and sounded and everything. And then this is a ride once I had done that a little bit to get a little bit better feel on it. And because the shifter on this thing is a heel toe shifter, and I hadn't really used anything like that before. And because it's basically an automatic semi-auto, so there's no clutch, and it's taking a little bit getting used to the shifter style. So there's no clutch over here, there's nothing on the left side. It's an automatic, so on the bottom it has a heel toe shifter. So basically, where your shifter is, there's a piece, there's two pieces. At least on the US version, I read that it's different in other areas. On the US version, you use the heel shifter to shift up, and you use the toe shifter to shift down, and there's no clutch. So you just click the gears and it shifts for you. And then it has the other standard components of, front brake on the right handlebar grip, and then the rear brake is on the right side next to the foot peg. So pretty standard layout and configuration for a bike. And does take a little bit of getting used to, because the Navi did not have a shifter at all, and then I had driven normal motorcycles with standard clutch and shifter action, so it's a little bit different from those even. So it just takes a little bit getting used to. But so after, aside from that, those are kind of the only non-standard things about this bike. Otherwise, it's pretty standard little motorcycle. It's a 125. The Navi was a 110, so a little bit faster. I think the top speed on this one is more around 55, as opposed to the Navi. The top speed was more around 50. Give or take, depending on your weight, the level of incline of the road, and your weight. But and how much wind there is in your face. But it's a pretty small bike. It does have some off-road capabilities, and that's what I was interested in for the trail from the get-go, is that it's not a off-road beast. It's not a dual sport, travel adventure bike, but it does have enough off-road capability. You can go on trail rides, ride through fields, stuff like that. So stuff that's a little bit more my speed in terms of what I tend to do. So I was excited to get this and take it for some rides to kind of see how it works out. And actually, I forgot that. Well, you can't. Okay, you can turn left from here. And then looking at the manual, so it's a 4-speed automatic. So looking at the manual, first gear, you would shift after you hit 12 miles per hour into second. And then in second gear, once you hit 19 miles per hour, you shift into third. And once you're in third gear and you hit 25 miles per hour, you shift into fourth gear. And then fourth gear would take you all the way up beyond that to the top speed. And then in terms of downshifts, you would shift down from fourth gear into third gear, I think at 16 miles per hour. And then you would be able to shift from third into second around 12 to 14 miles per hour. So if you're used to using a small displacement motorcycle with a standard clutch, probably not super far off from what the shift points would be for a standard one. But the main thing that drew me to this bike was the off-road capabilities and the looks. At some point I'll get off the bike and walk around it. Looks wise, it does have a nice retro look to it, while still being fuel injected with LED lights and stuff on it to make it a little bit more modern. So it's a nice mixture of retro and modern. And it's very windy, so hopefully this helmet is blocking all the wind noise. I changed my microphone setup with this helmet a little bit, so it might sound a little bit different. Basically, my helmet is a Ruroc Atlas 3.0, or not 4.0, and it has a chin guard area where there's like a little flap of padding, and I basically just took a DJI mic, because it has a magnetic base, and I just set it inside that, and then stuck a magnet under the other piece of material holding the mic inside the helmet. Because I know a lot of people will run lav mics through the helmet and connect it through that way, and then have a GoPro mount attached to the chin of their helmet to attach a GoPro or whatever other camera. I didn't want to do that because I used a few different helmets. I wanted to be able to more easily switch out between them. So I went ahead and changed that out to just use the magnetic thing to keep this in place. Now I'm on Melwood Avenue. Yeah, so this has been a little bit of adjustment getting used to this setup, because I had a normal motorcycle, a Honda CBR sport bike years ago, and then for a decade I drove a stick shift car. And in the past couple years I got a different car that's an automatic, and I've had the Honda Navi, which is an automatic because it's a CVT, so there's no shifting or anything at all. And it is always, you know, the norm that when you hop on something like this, you want to get a little bit of experience. You end up with very impatient drivers that run up your backside and don't give you any time to even think. So, and then the seating position for this bike is a little bit different than the Navi. It has a smaller seat, and it doesn't really have it's a little bit smaller seat. It doesn't have the ability to carry a passenger out of the factory. I think you can, has a rear storage rack that I think you can replace with a seat extender, but then there's not foot pegs, and I think you can get some of those. So, I don't think I would personally recommend on stuff this small taking passengers. I mean, you can on, the Navi, you can have a passenger, but I don't know how much I would really want to deal with that. And then this is just continue to go down Melwood Avenue. And I guess I'll just go all the way to the light. So like I said, I think this gets a little bit more top speed than the Navi. So Honda has a number of different minimotos. So they have this and the Navi, and then they have the Super Cub and the Monkey. And the Monkey would be the same engine, I believe, but a different transmission, a normal clutch, manual transmission that's 5 speeds, so it'll be a little bit faster. And then they also have the Grom. So they've been expanding their selection of motorcycles and little, scooters and stuff you can get for a reasonable price that have different use cases. Because like I said, this trail, you can do light off-roading on it. I mean, this isn't like a, something you would want to take, I think, on jumps and full-on very technical dirt bike trails or something, but for rolling through a field or, some dirt paths or gravel or something, you're fine. And that's really the only thing I would probably ever go down anyway. So it is interesting getting used to this, because the shift point from first to second gear is such a low speed. Because the bike I had before, I guess if you look at the manual, that's a lot of them recommend shifting around there, but the bike I had before, you could wind it up way more before it sounded like it was trying to, blow up. And then straight ahead, or it'd be River Road. Where there's the old water towers, and there's like a museum up there you can go to. I'm not sure exactly what their hours are, because I've never gone there, but I know it's something that exists and is there. And then this is River Road, so going along the Ohio River. And this bike is brand new. Still in the break-in period, because it only has 19 total miles on it. When I took it off of the dealer, it had 0.5 miles, so not even a full mile. So like I said, I took a pretty easy ride around the neighborhood a little bit. I'm still breaking it in, because the break-in period is 600 miles, where you should take it easy. So probably won't be doing a top speed run on this just yet, until after I get that first service at 600 miles. But this does feel a little bit more confident doing, 45 miles per hour or whatever than the Navi did. I don't think their ultimate curb weight is all that much different. I think they're right around the, same weight, but somewhere between like 260, 280, something like that. So this is Cox's Park that I'm riding through. That goes up to the Ohio River. So this is where having the off-road capabilities comes in. So that's the Ohio River. Again, light off-road capability, so stuff like this is fine. It is a very nice day. It's in the upper 60s, low 70s, a little bit of breeze, nice and sunny. How easy these are to find depends on where you live, because like I said, I had looked for these for a few years and I never really found one anywhere close, or at least one that they didn't have a ridiculous markup on. And then I finally found this one that they were selling at cost, so they may be difficult to find depending on where you live. But yeah, that's the Ohio River. But and I think on the road throughout here, I don't know if it's something that's in the range of view of the camera, but if you saw, there's a number of areas where they have kind of little things that are ground out of the pavement, where they have, let's see if there's an example of that up here. They just have sections where there are little chunks missing, and that's intentional. That is something the city did, I believe. Like, so what I'm about to go over right now and what's straight ahead, the city did this to discourage people from doing all the burnouts and takeovers and stuff, because it makes it unpleasant to do a burnout if you have that. Alright, this is a park, so I will pull over here and give an overview of what the bike looks like. Yeah, so this is the Trail 125. The ones, I think the 2024 models are yellow. The year before that was like a dark green, and before that they were red. And then I think they may have different colors with future years. But yeah, it's just a little bike that, if you saw it from the side, you might just think it's a moped or something. And, has a nice classic look. Looks like the kind of stuff people rode in the, 70s and 60s. Because Honda did make these, like 70 cc's and 90 cc's in the past. And then this is a 125. So, a little bit a little bit bigger that you can actually take somewhere on the road. I don't know where all this goes. So I'll just go a little bit further before I wrap this up. I'll go down to Indian Hills, which is a neighborhood. It's pretty affluent. So this is the kind of stuff I think this bike would excel at. These kind of leisurely strolls, you know, going through areas where you don't have to go 1,000 miles per hour. Because through this area, the speed limit's actually 25 miles per hour. And I don't know how incredibly strictly they enforce that, but they do have the various signs that show your speed and flash if you're doing too much. And there typically is at least one cop sitting somewhere. And part of that is, this is, again, a relatively affluent neighborhood with some pretty big, expensive houses. So they actually do tend to take a lot of stuff a little bit more seriously. So I'll ride through there. Then also I might throw in some footage at the end of this of a night ride, just to show what the headlight, tail light, all that stuff looks like at night. Because one thing that was an annoyance of mine with the Navi is that it had an alternating current battery, which meant that when you started the bike up and it was idling, that the headlight would kind of fluctuate the strength of, you know, how much light's putting out with that, as would the instrumentation, so the speedometer and all that stuff. Now, once you were going, you know, actually on the road moving along, it was at the full brightness and output. But when you're sitting there at a light, it would, you know, it would not be. So this is a bike with a little bit more modern instrumentation. On the video, it might not pick this up super well right now because it's, you know, sunny out, but it has, you know, LED display and dials and all that stuff, or LCD display, so a little bit more modern display technology. And again, this is a little bit more expensive bike than the Navi, because the Navi's starting price, I think, is $1,807, as opposed to this one's $4,099. So, you know, double the price. It should have some upgrades and updates. I think I'll go through... No, that's... Where do I want to go? Yeah, so I'll go into Indian Hills this way before I wrap this up. But, yeah, I think this bike's going to be a lot of fun. I plan to use this for some different videos and projects, in addition to just enjoying riding it. You know, because my brother picked up that 150, which he doesn't, unfortunately, live super close to me. He lives a pretty good deal away. So if we want to go riding, Both of us have to do about a 30-minute trip, or 30 to 40-minute trip to get to the other. I guess we could try to go somewhere in the middle, but so that will be happening at some point. And then I'll just loop back through the area to where I was going through earlier before I went to that side street. And it is nice because this does have more suspension than the Navi, a little bit more suspension play, I guess. It's a little bit more comfortable. The only thing that's taken a second to get used to is not having a clutch here. Not having a clutch to operate. But that's something I guess will get to be second nature over time. Yeah, so far again, only have 23 miles on this right now, but I'm enjoying it a lot so far. You know, the conundrum with some of this stuff is this is a great thing if you live in a rural area and you need to take it through, you know, different your property or whatever, but then you need to also be able to take it down to the store or something. The only caveat there is the top speed of this bike is about 55, I think. So that may not be fast enough for some rural roads where people do much faster than that. I guess the difference between like this and the Navi or the Grom or something, this looks, you know, as I showed the view of it, this looks like a moped. For all intents and purposes, or just a really retro throwback bike. So I don't think anybody's going to pull up next to you when you're on this thing and think that it can do 80 miles an hour. I think people see this and their expectations will be that it's not going to be that fast. Which, you know, works in your favors because traffic, if they don't drive, you know, dangerously, then it makes things a lot, if everybody's driving a little bit more careful, makes things better, so. Yeah, so this is the Honda Trail, the 125. Now I'll just skip ahead to going for a little bit of a night ride. And this is taking the Honda, not the Honda Navi, the Honda Trail 125, the CT125 out for a ride at night. You can see that it has a digital display that lights up, so it's better visibility of the instrumentation at nighttime than on the Navi. And up ahead of me there are some motorcycles with loud pipes and speakers blaring stuff, but so I'm trying to keep a little bit of distance. But yeah, I'm taking this at nighttime. So this is going through Bardstown Road. I figured I'd see how the bike looks at night. The headlight seems to work pretty well. It's LED, so it's a little bit brighter than just a standard. The non-LED bulbs that they had on the next street. Yeah, so I guess I'll go through here and see what the high beams look like versus the low beams. So this is the standard beam. Seems to be casting a pretty decent amount of light. There's street lamps through here, so it's, you know, the visibility is pretty solid as is, but you know, so this is the standard and this is the high bulb. So a little bit brighter. I'm sure if you're going through desolate, winding country roads, that may help see a little bit better if you're going through trails at night. So this is the bike at nighttime with the headlight on. Let's see. Turn signals. So it has LEDs, LED lighting. And then yeah, it's got the digital instrument display that's actually visible at nighttime. It's not kind of flickering. So yeah, I think this will be fun to ride at night. I think the headlights and the instrumentation, everything work pretty well. Not that like the Navi you couldn't ride at night, because I have plenty of videos where I did. But I just think this will probably be a little bit better experience going around at nighttime. But yeah, so that was getting the Honda Trail 125, also known as the CT 125. Picked it up today, so this was the first day taking it out for any rides. But yeah, until next time.